There he is.
Yo, what's poppin', everybody? As you can see, I'm back at the trout stream, but today I'm not chasing trout. I'm chasing one of the most underrated freshwater fish of all time. I'll give you a couple hints as to what it is. Number one, they're greasy. Number two, they have a funny looking mouth. It's like, I can't really do the mouth impression. Yeah, I'm talking about creek chubs, okay? Creek chubs are freaking dope. I love creek chubs. It's a native fish. It deserves internet appreciation. So today's video is all about creek chubs, baby. I love creek chubs. They deserve respect. Respect the creek chub. Now, as you know, I have a full-time job. I'm not a professional YouTuber. So we came to this stream right here after work, and the sun goes down way too early, so I've got maybe 1 hour. Maybe 1 hour. Can we catch creek chubs in maybe 1 hour? I think so. What's gonna be the best way to catch a fish? Stop rambling. Let's start fishing. Let's go. I've got a couple pools that I think are going to be productive for creek chubs, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to rig up right here and I'm going to hike up to those after it. The pools are pretty shallow and clear, so I figure I'll probably spook them if I'm not careful. So we'll just rig up right here. This is a Berkley power bait honey worm. I've heard really good things about these. I don't know a ton about creek chubs, but I know that they like those stinky things. Ooh, these smell like dog food is what they smell like. I've never eaten dog food, but I've always been curious, you know? Okay, so what rig am I throwing? You might be wondering, Ethan, what rig are you throwing, kid? It's just like a little float rig. It's got a little bobber here, a little bit of split shot, and then a 1/80th ounce fire red mule jig. Just gonna thread that little puppy on there. In the past, when I fished for creek chubs, I've used wax worms on mule jigs, and it worked quite well. Well, this looks about like a wax worm, so I figure it should work. I also tied it on a loop knot, so it's gonna sit like that in the water, which is perfect. What you want on a float rig. Not that I really think the creek chubs will care, but might as well do it the right way. Anyways, we gotta hike over to our spot. Let's go. I just hiked through a bunch of junk and I'm approaching my first pool. First tip of the day, try to be stealthy. There's about 10,000 sticks here, so I'm gonna try to avoid them. I don't wanna crunch every stick and let the fish know I'm coming. This is a nice little river bend. I've caught some creek chubs in this little bend in the past. You want that jig to be just kind of ticking along the bottom, so you need to make sure it has enough line. Let's try that. The trick is if you get it too deep, probably going to get hung up on the bottom, but if you don't have it deep enough, it's going to be above those creek chubs and they might come up to it, but it's going to be the best, most effective presentation if it's close to the bottom. Everybody out here watching those steelhead float fishing videos, I'm just trying to get people to watch float fishing videos for creek chubs, man. Creek chubs need love too. There's a fish. Yes, it is the target species. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, bobber downs for creek chubs. That's what's up, baby. Took a little effort, but I found him. Just an absolute dank, but look at that hook set. Popped him. That's a beautiful little creature. Oh, bye, little creature. All right, hopefully there's another one in that little pool right there. It's like a little bit of a point right there. So that opposite side, that current flows right around and there's some wood right there. And he bit exactly where you would expect them to bite. You don't want that line to get pulled down to stream too fast. You want it to kind of drift through there naturally. Now, I know some of you guys might think, you know, I only like sport fish, but I tell you what, any fish can be a sport fish. You just got to give them a little bit of a chance. That was a pretty small one, so he didn't really fight much. But once you get some of those bigger creek chubs, man, they can put up a little fight on Ultralight here. So gotta respect them, man, gotta respect them. Hopefully we can find a big old fat chub. Gotta be careful here because when you get it too close to that gunk, it gets awfully sketchy. I'm not trying to snag up and break this thing off. The thing I literally just realized right now is that I didn't bring any more floats. So if I break this off and lose my float, I'm gonna have to drift them without a float. I think one might be doinking it. There he is, there he is. That's a little bit better one. That's just a little juicy mama right there. She's got a little bit of girth to her. That's a girthy chub right there. Popped him right in the noggin again, man. I'm hooking these fish perfectly. You see that? Money. Money. We are accomplishing exactly what we came here to do. Whoa, whoa, whoa. They're kind of slimy little creatures, but they're gorgeous, man. Look at that fish. Super cool. Look at those like pink cheeks. I know they're a little ugly in the face with that weird mouth, but I still love them, man. Still love them. All right, buddy, you want to go back? I would do an epic underwater release, but the reality is my hands would get so cold because the air right now is just frigid and it's pretty windy. So I don't really want to do epic underwater releases and freeze my fingers off. So we're not going to do that. So I apologize. Another one. Two casts in a row. Let's go. Let's go. Now we're on him, baby. That's a little bit bigger one. Oh boy, I'm about ready to fall. Slipping in the mud. Yet again, dude. Nice hook set. I'm popping these fish, baby. That's the best one yet. They're getting a little bit bigger every single time. You know what? I want to get a picture of little ombre. Because like I said, the internet needs to appreciate creek chubs. And the thing is, this is going on YouTube, but I need to throw something on the Instagram, put something on Twitter, tell everyone what's up. Gotta love a good old creek chub. That's what's up. It's a nice long creek chub. Look at her. Cool fish. Such a cool fish. They're so weird. They're like super soft and they're like greasy, but I love them, man. Apparently they make really good bait for bigger sport fish. Now I actually, I believe brown trout will clobber these. So like big brown trout will actually eat these. Probably not the size I just caught, but that first one I caught probably would have been a great bait for a brown trout. But apparently people have told me that they're really good for northern pike, probably good for smallmouth, honestly. Really, I would say they're probably good for most predator fish. Now, personally, I don't want to use them that way. I prefer to fish with artificial lures for bigger predator fish. So I would rather just catch them and let them go. But it is certainly a cool part of the ecosystem. Every single fish in the water is neat to me. The fish that I respect most are usually native fish. And that's just because this is where they are naturally from. And that is why I actually think that the creek chub is a more impressive fish than a brown trout. Brown trout ain't even from America, man. Whereas the creek chub is like, yo, this is my home. What the heck are these brown trout doing here? I'm not used to these things. Why are they up in my business eating me? The reason they're up in your business eating you is because us Americans, we like to catch crazy sport fish. And a brown trout is a crazy sport fish. And so we release them here, bada bing, bada boom. You've got yourself more of a fishery. But the reality is, man, it's gonna be a fishery with or without brown trout. I'm actually pretty proud of myself. First pool I tried, I've got 3 fish in it. Oh no, I'm snagged. I casted it just a little bit too shallow. No, I want this back. Dadgummit, it just broke and I lost my bobber.
Okay, well the bad news is that I broke off my rig that was working quite well and I don't have any more bobbers. The good news is that I do have some more mule jigs. I do have some more 1/80th ounce mule jigs and I have some more honey worms and I'm just gonna drift this puppy through some pools. Now I'm gonna go ahead and give this pool a rest and I'm gonna move on to my next pool just because limited time and I'm very curious if I'm gonna be able to catch fish in this next pool. The next pool is extremely shallow. Like I walk by it every single time I'm trout fishing. It's really, really small and shallow. It's like the size of a bathtub. But every single time I go by, I see a bunch of little creek chubs. Never really seen any big ones in there, but I just think it's gonna be a fun challenge to try to catch a fish in there because they're always super spooked by me. I walk by and they go crazy. So I'm gonna try to sneak up extremely quietly, just really channel my inner ninja, and we're gonna flick this puppy in there. We're just gonna drift it and we're gonna see if we can make one of them bite. So let's stop yipping and yapping. Let's get back to casting and blasting. Let's go.
Little sketchy. Don't try this at home, kiddos. Boom shakalaka. Bet you've never seen anybody else try to be a ninja to catch a creek chub. There he is, first cast. Oh, it's an absolute micro. Dude, this is amazing. This makes me so happy. I'm gonna have to release him over here. You know what's incredible about this fish? This is probably like brown trout candy. If I put this thing on like a little hook, I'd probably catch a massive brownie on it. But I tell you what, that's not what we're doing today. We are just absolutely admiring these fish. Creek Chub Appreciation Day, baby. I'm gonna toss him in, but I'm gonna put him in over here. There he is, there he is. They don't bite super aggressively, and obviously these are very small creek chubs. Like I said, I didn't expect to catch any big ones in this little pool, but I'm super proud of myself for actually finding these fish, being able to stalk them. And look at that, it's actually a really gorgeous fish. He's about the size of my middle finger. You know, I'm honestly surprised I've never got into micro fishing. Eventually, maybe I will. When I say micro fishing, I'm not talking about what I basically am doing right now. I'm talking about using even smaller stuff and going for even smaller fish. I have to pee really bad. I'm gonna have to take a quick creek chub break. I'm gonna declare this tree my tree. The Creek Chub pea tree is what I call this. I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the camera for this. You know, me and my dog aren't so different. I like to mark my territory too. Some of you might be saying, Ethan, this is where you lost me. Why do you incorporate this in the video? I incorporate this in the video because I think it's funny, okay? There's gotta be more, come on, Creek Chub. There he is. Like I said, a bunch of dinks, man. I am the Creek Chub dink master too. I can catch dinky bass, I can catch dinky gills, I can catch dinky trout, I can catch dinky creek chubs, baby. Let's go. I'm gonna release you. I'm actually gonna put you back in your pool. I definitely think this spot right here is a spot where small creek chubs come to kind of stay safe from those brown trout. That last pool that I fished obviously had a larger average size of creek chub, and those fish were obviously big enough to where they probably felt safe. Oh man, I just got short striked. Those fish were probably big enough to where they felt actually somewhat safe from the average brown trout in here. I will say this, a float is beneficial for these fish because aside from a couple bites, most of them have been pretty soft biters. I honestly think if I just let this pool rest for about 5 minutes, I could probably come back here and catch more. But I think what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna challenge myself to try to catch some more fish on the main creek channel. The main creek is right out there. This is kind of just like a little backwater section. And like I said, this is just a great place for little creek chubs to hide because they don't want to deal with those larger predator fish. Honestly, as well as I did in this short little fishing trip, I will say I still have a lot to learn about this fish, and I look forward to doing so because it's an underappreciated fish, as I've said about 1,000 times. This spot right here actually looks really good. I really wish I had my bobber right here. It's gonna be tough to detect bites. There's one. Yes, 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 yes. It's another absolute micro, but I'll take it, man. I'll take it. That's given me confidence in my ability to find these fish, man. They definitely like this little honey worm. Again, these are really small creek chubs, but it's good to know that I can locate these fish. There's probably some people watching like, dang it, Ethan, what I would give for a bucket full of those. I'd be slim in the pike in my area. Oh my gosh, immediately. Oh yeah, look at this one. It's got a lot more prominent line. So that's one thing I've noticed. Some of them have this really nice lateral line running right down their side. And I don't know if that's a difference between a male and a female. Maybe some of those ones that don't have the line, maybe it's actually a different species of chub. I'm not sure. But that right there is just a classic creek chub look. Great little rig, man. Great little rig and a gorgeous fish. I love when they get that pink on their cheeks. There's like a log jam and they were just both right up against it, but there's some nice slack water here. It's off of that main creek channel. I feel like they don't really like to sit in that heavy current. It seems like they like cover. They like a little bit steeper bank. They like that muddy bottom as well, obviously. They're kind of a goofy fish, but they're a really cool fish at the same time. There's a little loop in my line. I need to clear that out. I'm nervous I'm gonna snag. There we go. I think we're good. Oh, of course. All I wanted to do was get the little loop out of my line, and this is what I get for it. What the heck? Well, essentially what just happened there is I had a weak point in my line. My line like wrapped around my spool. Something weird happened. It put a weak point in my line and it snapped it. Well, I'm bummed. I'm gonna have to buy some more 1/80th ounce mule jigs for myself. I like that fire red mule jig for those creek chubs. I don't know what it is about it, but I have a lot of confidence in that fire red color. Honestly, it's probably time I get going anyways.
You know what? I'm a little annoyed that I broke off a couple jigs today, but more importantly than that, I'm super stoked because I accomplished my goal of catching creek chubs today. Before you leave though, I have a couple challenges for you. Number one, I challenge you to target creek chub at some point in the next year. Could be this week, could be next month, could be 6 months from now. No matter what, make an effort and target some creek chub in your area. If you don't have creek chub in your area, maybe make an effort to target a species that isn't necessarily known as a sport fish, but is a native fish. And then the other challenge I have for you is to make a post on social media with the hashtag Creek Chub Appreciation. You know, you could share this video on your Facebook page, that'd be cool. Or maybe you can go catch a creek chub in your area and post it on Instagram or something and say hashtag Creek Chub Appreciation. And when you do make those posts, feel free to tag my online outdoorsman pages. I'd love to see them. I always like seeing what you guys catch. You know, on Instagram, a lot of you follow me and I follow you, and I always love seeing you catch fish, but what I'd love to see even more than that, I want to see you catch creek chub, man. Why not? Okay, you think you're up for that challenge? I hope so. I hope so. Regardless, I hope you enjoyed this video of me chasing a little bit different species than you're probably used to seeing. One thing about me as an angler, as many of you know, is that I love multi-species and I love challenging myself as an angler to try to learn more about new species. Well, creek chubs I know a little bit about, but I don't know a lot about them, and I definitely want to keep learning, not only from fishing for them, but also by reading up on them. All right, I've probably rambled long enough. I'm gonna go warm up some leftover soup that my wife made. It's so good. It's super healthy. It's super yummy. It's gonna be a great time. And then I'm gonna sit around and relax a little bit, reflect on my creek chub goodness. Have a good night. We'll catch you next time.